Hello, and welcome to MVAO 203, MainView Auto Operator Solutions and Integration. This is Part 1. MVAO 203 is the sixth in an 8-part series of courses covering MainView Auto Operator. MainView Auto Operator delivers several automation solutions out of the box. We're going to talk about a few of them in detail as we go forward. Others we may not talk about too much at all. Key ones we'll discuss are Continuous State Manager and Total Object Manager. We'll talk about the Distributed WebSphere MQ solutions, and then we'll touch on some other ones as well. Here is a list of the distributed solutions with AutoOperator. You can see it's a fairly complete list. We do provide solutions for most of the common scenarios that customers run into. We obviously aren't going to go through all of these in detail, but I did want to put them up there so you could see what was available. Now you can find more detail on these items if you look in the MainView AutoOperator Solutions Guide, and there'll be a section for each of these. The first solutions we want to talk about are our state management solutions. The first one is Continuous State Manager, or CSM. That's a legacy solution that's been functionally stabilized. It's still in use by several customers, and it gets the job done. But what we prefer customers do is migrate to Total Object Manager, or TOM. It has a lot of new capabilities that CSM does not have, and it allows for better interaction with AutoOperator. So we're going to talk a little bit about TOM as we go forward. MainView Total Object Manager, or TOM, provides an infrastructure for managing the state of objects. Those objects include started tasks, USS services, and WLM workloads. With TOM, you can manage your objects on a single system, or you can manage them across systems, which is really nice in a sysplex, so that you can be performing an IPL on one LPAR and then be able to manage the state of the objects from another LPAR, even though much of the system may already be down. AutoOperator also provides solutions out of the box for distributed MQ. So it really comes down and it's distributed in 3 rule sets: AAO RUL BH for the channel solutions, AAO RUL BQ for most of the other solutions. To implement them, you need to make sure your queues are defined in UBB-PARM AAO MQL XX, and when you implement the rules, it's necessary to update the queue managers to the appropriate queue manager names. Most of the rules will be distributed disabled, so it'll be necessary to enable those rules. And if you want more information about the whole process, refer to the MainView AutoOperator WebSphere for MQ installation and user's guide. Additional MQ solutions include a dead letter queue solution, which generates an alert anytime a message arrives on the dead letter queue. There's also a system queue archival solution that will unload all of the message from a queue to a GDG whenever a full queue event occurs. We have out-of-the-box solutions for service intervals for your queues. So if you have a lot of latency between your puts and your gets, we can use this solution to notify you of that. There's a queue depth management solution, so you get an alert whenever a depth threshold is reached. And there's a channel availability solution that captures most of your common channel errors. MainView AutoOperator also provides a number of different sample execs. These are distributed in the BB-SAMP library, and if you want to use them, copy them to the UBB-PROC library first, and that will make them accessible to AutoOperator. A popular solution with our customers is the SMTP mail exec. So what we can do here is we can send an email from an AO exec. It actually consists of two execs. There's a QAO SMTP1 in BBSAMP. That's the driver exec, and you will need to modify that exec to specify your mail server, who the recipient is, the subject of the message, as well as the body. The QAO SMTP2 actually does the TCP/IP sockets to log into the server and send the email. The second one you do not need to modify. Now both of these execs are documented in the actual exec itself, so go ahead and review those in the BBSAMP and BBProc libraries, and you get further instructions on how to use them. Here's an example of the SMTP exec. If we scroll down, we can modify the values for the SMTP server and then the reply to email, as well as the email we want to send it to. We also specify the subject for our email as well as the message body near the bottom. And when our rule fires, this is an example of a message we might receive in email. In recent versions of AutoOperator, the SMTP mail has been enhanced. So now we have the ability to send it from an exec using two execs. There's a QAO SMTP3 in the BBSAMP. This is the driver exec that passes your parameters to SMTP4. Now, one difference here is the SMTP server no longer needs to be specified in the exec. We specify it in a variable, in a profile variable actually, that you define in the panels of AutoOperator. And the QAO SMTP4 isn't one that you modify. That actually does the TCP/IP socket calls. Now these are both documented internally, so if you review the execs, you'll see how to modify them to meet your needs. To specify the SMTP server to use with the latest solution, you need to go into Easy Menu for AutoOperator and look at the Solutions submenu. And from here, you'll see the Email from Execs option in the upper left. So we'll place our cursor on that and press Enter. And we'll see a display like this. And here near the top, we'll specify the SMTP server name that will be used for our email. Another email capability that was delivered recently with AutoOperator is the ability to use QAO email directly from your rule. You can do this without having to code any exec altogether. You will just pass the email to, the reply to, and the subject of the email on the exec call in the rules processor. Here's an example of how you would use QAO email directly from the rules processor. So here you can see I specify the name of the exec, I give it the email I want to send it to, the email address I want to reply to, and then the text of the subject line. And here we see a sample email that would have been generated by our rule. AutoOperator also supplies a solution for generating SNMP traps. There are two execs, a QAO SNMP3 and a QAO SNMP4. The QAO SNMP3 is where you will specify the values that you really want to send to your trap. You can specify many of them by looking at the Easy AO SOL Solutions menu, and you can specify your common variables there that will be populated into a pool. The QAO SNMP4 is just the exec that sends the traps. You should not need to modify that at all. AutoOperator also has a solution to generate notification requests to Xmatters, which is also known as AlarmPoint. This is a third-party solution, meaning it's not a BMC solution, that provides notification and escalation to phones, pagers, email, either to groups, individuals. It is a solution that runs off-platform. It runs on a Windows desktop, and we have two execs that pass data to it. There's a QAO ALMP1 and a QAO ALMP2. So the QLA ALMP1 you'll need to modify to meet your site values, and then the QAO ALMP2 should not need to be modified. If this is something you're interested in implementing, look in the AO Solutions Guide for more information about implementing AlarmPoint or XMatters interface. A few more utility execs that may be of use is QAO LISTV, which will write all of the IMUF variables to the system log to the AutoOPERATOR journal. You can call it from a rule to check values of your variables as well. There's a QAO dump, which will take a dump of the BBISS address space, which is the AutoOPERATOR address space. And then there's a QAO MVINF, which lets you look at any of the data in MainView. This concludes MVAO 203 Part 1.